Thank you for listening to Shulchanaruchharav.com.
Not to delay one's bathroom needs, otherwise known as the Isser of Baal Tashaktu. Do not disgust yourself. We are all aware of the concept that in Judaism we are instructed that one who needs to use the bathroom, whether to urinate or defecate, is to do so without delay. Although this instruction carries with it various questions as to when and how it is applicable. Such as, for example, if you suffer from a disorder that requires you to use the bathroom often, do you have to listen to your body every single time? Or may you learn to withhold for the sake of strengthening your muscles and your psychology? Likewise, what do you do if you're in the middle of a speech? When you're going to run out in the middle of a speech, say, hey guys, wait a few minutes, I'll be back. What if you're learning Torah and you would like to delay? What if you're in the middle of davening? And so on and so forth of different cases. So Mirz Hashem, this halacha and its details will be dealt with in a few segments. And in today's segment, we will deal with the general background of this prohibition and its application. So our journey begins in the Gemara Maseches Makis 16b, in which the Gemara lists the different teachings that it learns from the verses in the parsha of kosher foods, known as Parsha Shmini, which lists all the kosher and non-kosher foods. And there, towards the end of the parsha, it states, Al tashaktus nafshi seichem. Do not abominate your souls, do not make your souls repulsive. And Rav Achai and Amayra in the Gemara states, Hamashes nekavav evim misham leisashaktu. That what is the intent, the meaning of this verse in scripture? Its intent is that one who withholds his bowels transgresses the command of thou shalt not perform repulsive acts to your soul. And this ruling of Rav Achai is recorded in the Rishonim, in the Rambam, in the Mechaber in chapter 3, and in the Alter Rebbe Shulchanaruch, in both versions, as well as in his Siddur Seder Natila. And it is a unanimous concept in the Poskim without argument, that there is an absolute prohibition for one to withhold its bowels, to withhold his needs. Interestingly, however, although from the Talmud it's implied that this is a biblical prohibition, as it's learned from a verse in Scripture, nonetheless, in truth, the Poskim arbitrate that its status is only rabbinical, and the verse from which it is learned from the Gemara is considered a mira smachta, which is a scriptural verse that helps support a rabbinical decree, even though in truth the decree is rabbinical and not biblical. And so too here, the Isser about the Shaktu is only rabbinical, so rules the Alter Rebbe both in 311 Madura Basra and in his Siddur, although it's omitted from the Madura Kam, and so also rules the Pri Megadim, the Kaf HaChaim, and other Poskim. Nonetheless, we do find a Das Yachid, an opinion who holds that it's biblical, as is the literal understanding from the Gemara. So is the opinion of the Bala Charedim in chapter 32:56, that this prohibition is a biblical prohibition. Regarding if this prohibition applies only to a bowel movement, the need to defecate, or also to urine, the need to urinate. So regarding this, we find a machlekes in the Poskim. Some Poskim rule that Baal Tashaktu does not apply towards urine and only towards defecation. So is the ruling of the Rashba, an implication of the Magen Avram. The Alter Rebbe quotes this opinion in his Madura Basra and Siddur. Although others argue, and the Alter Rebbe summarizes that even according to the dissenting opinion who says that it does not apply to urine, there is still a rabbinical prohibition to withhold urine due to the matter of danger, that doing so is dangerous, irrelevant of the discussion of whether it's considered a repulsive act, and likewise it can cause a male to become sterile, impotent, chas v'sholem. So to summarize, there is a rabbinical prohibition against withholding the need to defecate, and regarding withholding urine, there is likewise a prohibition to withhold it, although it is debated whether this prohibition is due to Baal Tashaktu or due to other reasons. Regarding flatulence, releasing gas, so the Alter Rebbe rules in his Siddur and in 103.2 based on previous Poskim, and so is the final ruling of the Achreidim, that the Isser of Baal Tashaktu or any other Isser does not apply to flatulence, and therefore one who needs to flatulate is allowed to withhold himself and does not transgress any matter by doing so. Regarding the Kabbalistic and mystical reasons behind the above said prohibition of withholding one's bathroom needs, so the Arizal and Shar HaMitzvahs Parsha Shmini, as recorded in the Ben Ish Chai and other Achreinim, explains something very interesting. That every food that we eat contains good and bad. It contains vitamins, nutrients, and waste. And the job of the abdomen, the digestive tract, is to take the good and expel the bad. The nutrients are absorbed by the cells, while the waste is discarded and becomes impure klipos. And says the Arizal, the one who delays his needs is in essence delaying the removal and extraction of these evil klipas from his body. And therefore, when it says that by doing so one is making his soul repulsive, it's literal. As by keeping the klipas in one's body, one is literally defying his soul, even more than the body. And that's why the verse emphasizes Baal Tashaksu is nafshei seichem and not gufeichem, as it actually defiles the soul with the klipa, with the impurity. The Arizal then concludes that prior to using the bathroom, one is to have this kavana that he is doing so in order to rid himself of this klipa and purify his neshama. The Ben Ish Chai likewise records from Baal Sefer Chesed LaAvram, a famous Kabbalist Rav Mazulai, that one who is lax in these laws of going to the bathroom and delays his needs, it causes his mind not to be pure. Cause him to have machshavas zaros. And on the contrary, one who is careful in this, it helps to refine his thought process, refine his mind, and helps him become physically healthy and turns one into a new body. Therefore, we should all take to heart the importance and severity of these guidelines that we were given by our Torah. Meretz Shem, in a future lesson, we will discuss the definition of Baal Tashaksu in terms of how strong of an urge is considered an urge enough that you must go to the bathroom and may not delay it according to halacha. And in what cases do we suspend the prohibition and say you are allowed to withhold yourself for certain reasons, for certain purposes which are valid. So all those cases will be discussed in the future halacha.
Thank you for listening to Shulchanaruchharav.com. Our free services of making Torah knowledge available to the public depends on donors like you. Please help us continue our work through making even a small contribution at Shulchanaruchharav.com under the Daily Halacha Dedication section or in the subscription page. Also, check out our online courses and many sefarim available for purchase that will both enhance your Torah knowledge and help support our work.